The markets are certainly showing a lot of confidence, and the fact that there has been a landslide victory of the BJP-led Mahayuti, which will ensure political stability in Maharashtra, is reflecting in investor sentiment also, which is showing that high in markets. The Nifty and Sensex both going up. There has been a jump in both the indices. But what is becoming clear is, why is this happening? Remember, Maharashtra is the economic heart of India and Mumbai is the financial capital. Maharashtra contributes the maximum to GST when it comes to the centre's kitty. And that is the reason why political messaging is actually leading to this kind of economic surge, or should I say investor sentiment going positive as well. One aspect of is the biggest conglomerate, among the big conglomerates, is Adani portfolio. How is that faring? Let me go straight to Harsh, who's joining us live. And we also have my colleague Himanshu, who tracks markets for us. But a word from Harsh first, and then I bring in Himanshu.
Absolutely. Thanks so much, Maria, for that. Of course, markets buoyant today, and a few pockets which are doing relatively well in trade. I want to quickly mark them out. One is, of course, the Nifty Bank, which is up 2%, driving, therefore, markets higher. Mind you, the Fin Nifty also doing very, very well. Fin Nifty largely comprising 40% of the Nifty, and therefore, any traction there obviously reflects on the Nifty as well. Outside of that, in the broader markets, the Nifty Realty Index is doing very well, understandably so. More stability in the largest, or rather the financial hub, financial capital of the country, clearly indicating positivity for the real estate pack, because it will likely mean that real estate deals which have been closed will continue. There will be momentum there. Infra deals which have been closed will continue. There will be momentum there as well. And that also percolating on the Adani Group of stocks, which saw a bit of a muted performance last week. But this week, you're seeing good rebound across the board where the Adani portfolio is concerned. Why is that so? Because the fundamentals there remain solid. You've seen 17% kind of EBITDA growth, which is earnings before interest, depreciation, and taxes. That growth has come through on a year-on-year basis. In fact, when you're looking at free cash flow as well, which is the common metric that investors generally judge companies by, it's grown at 30% compounded annually over the last 5 years. And therefore, there is some bit of robustness where cash flows and visibility of cash flows is concerned. Last off, I want to touch upon debt, because that has been one concern, likely concern that the street has had. But brushing that off, the Adani Group has put out a release suggesting that till FY34, the debt repayments that are going to happen every single year are largely going to be covered by the current year cash flow itself. So the current year cash flow, even where there is zero growth for the next 10 years, should be adequate to cover year on year the debt repayments which are going out. So there's a lot of comfort with regard to debt repayments as well. And therefore, you're seeing that kind of strong performance from Adani Group stocks in trade today.
All right. Thank you so much for joining us and getting us that quick update. Himanshu, a word on Adani portfolio, because healthy liquidity certainly means that there would be cover of debt payments, repayments, yes. If I may say, and political messaging of stability, because across Maharashtra there was this buzz around stability. If there's a government which completes 5 years in office, it reflects on the markets, and that's what we are seeing today.
That's right. We saw in Maharashtra election campaign, both central leaders and state leaders, they campaigned together. And there was a message of unity among the Mahayuti camp. And I think that got the mandate from the people. And when a government, a party which is in power in Delhi, and a party which is also power in the state, if they get such resounding verdict, right, it's a reflection of people's support. It's a mandate for continuing the governance reforms, the economic reforms. And as you very rightly said, that Maharashtra economically is the most important Indian state with the maximum contribution of GST to the centre's kitty. That essentially is a reflection now, what we see in stock market today, is a reflection of the support from investors. This verdict has assured the investors that this is a government, both in centre and state, are going to work in unison, and they'll work for the development of Maharashtra and the...
And this is the government which means business.
The government which means business,
Yes.
the government which has a track record of good performance in the last 11 years. India remains the fastest growing economy in the world. And there are projections that by 2025-26, India will be third largest economy. So this political stability essentially means that all these reform processes that have been initiated at the central and state level will continue. There will be continuity in that.
Yes.
The reflection of the fact that Adani shares have gone up is also very important, because there have been allegations against Adani Group in US, and we have seen lots of politics here
Around
on this
it.
issue around it. But this surge in Adani shares, I will just give you some figures. When the market opened, the Adani Energy recorded the highest increase of 6.5%, Adani Green Energy 4.24%, Adani Total Gas 3.37%, and Adani Ports, I was just watching a few minutes back, was 4% increase. On the portfolio side, just 2 points I want to make. This is a reflection of the fact that companies' financial health is very strong. This is a reflection of the continuing investors' confidence in Adani companies' financial
That's right.
health. And just two things. Funds from operations at $7 billion for the last 12 months. I'm just reading some few facts. Growth at over 30% for the past 5 years. And importantly, the point that you made, the liquidity position across our portfolio companies remains strong, with sufficient liquidity to cover all debt obligations, including refinancing for the next 12 months plus 1 day. What it means, healthy liquidity to address debt. And this is a reflection that you see in the markets.
Yes, and the fundamentals of this company is strong, and that is the reason why we are seeing this rebounding of sorts. Sanjay Asher is joining us. We also have Anant, who's the founder of Invest Aaj for Kal. Sanjay, coming to you, we are looking at some details here, and the fact is that the net exposure to Indian banking is lower than perceived. That's also a fact here. Why is it that it is seen otherwise with regards to Adani portfolio?
No, now the market has considered all the debt of the Adani Group, the domestic debt. They have studied what implications will arise out of the US litigation. They have understood as to what will happen going forward. And having regard to all the facts and circumstances, having regard to the external debt, having regard to the internal debt and the assets, market has studied all of that in the last 3 or 4 days. And then the results are what we can see today in the increase in the Adani Group share price. So the point which I'm trying to make here is that
Okay, and Anand, yes, go ahead. Go ahead. Sanjay, go
I'm
ahead.
only saying that stock exchange is the barometer of an economy. Similarly, stock exchange is also the barometer for each of the company's health position as far as the growth is concerned, as far as debt is concerned, as far as assets is concerned, as far as profitability is concerned. So if there is a considered study and thereafter the share prices of all the entities, including the Adani entities, have gone up, that would mean that the health of Adani Group as also the health of other entities is quite healthy.
Anand, come in on this. The fact here is that the EBITDA growth has been strong as well. So when we look at, how there has been an entire shift in terms of growth without debt, has been almost like the mantra of how this entire portfolio has been functioning. This particular barometer, how should that be viewed?
Hi, firstly, thank you so much for having me on the show. Due to compliance reason and compliance issues, I won't be able to comment stock specific and give stock specific advice or tip. I just have one line to say in this matter, that Adani Group's stock fell because there were some compliance issues in US. We still are waiting for some clarity from that side. As an trader, as an investor, do make sure that you study properly and then make any decision, because making any decision in haste won't be good for your portfolio. Due to compliance issue, I cannot give any stock specific advice or tip. I'm so sorry.
Okay, so when we look at, Anant, overall how the markets are faring today, and that is reflecting on multiple companies and across multiple sectors, that's also an indication of how there is a great degree of investor confidence post the results which have come in, which is in favor of the BJP, the party which is largely seen as investor friendly, business friendly.
Absolutely right. See, market has already corrected 10% from the top. Secondly, FIs were regularly selling. Market was looking for a trigger for bounce back, and having the same government as center is always good for the market as far as stability is concerned. Next few months, we don't have any major indication or any major event, and I personally feel that capex probably will be a key area which even government will be focusing on. And whenever there is capex in the market, I feel probably results even are better than expected. So my all eyes will be on the results of next quarter. And if we see good amount of capex, I am quite positive and looking forward to it.
Okay, so, Sanjay, coming back to you, one aspect and one of the important, highlights is that the asset base of this company has grown by nearly $9 billion. Do you think these are essentially about the fundamentals, how the base is solid, and that is what is being repeatedly seen in these kind of rebounds?
I would think so, because if the assets are robust and if there is a growth in the assets, then surely one can come to a conclusion that there is a strong foundation which is there, a strong fundamental which is there, and hence the market is paying for the strong fundamental or for the strong foundation.
And overall, the cash flow, when we look at it, there has been a growth in cash flow operations as well to this company. So all those, the concerns which have been there around that, how do you think those all have been addressed as well?
I would tend to think so. Yes.
Okay. I'm going to come back to both of you in just a bit. Let me bring in Himanshu again. Himanshu, when we look at the overall, the surge in the markets, we'll wait, of course, on how markets close. But the fundamentals of the company are the drivers of that company. Despite the controversy, one after the other, the company continues to register that surge and at the same time rebound when after a major blip.
That's right. Even when last time when there was a Hindenburg controversy, we saw that market stood with the Adani group of companies. That was again a support for the strong fundamentals, that point that you're repeatedly making. And as we discussed, just to put some facts, the Adani portfolio, how it has performed in last 12 months. A note has been issued today, and I'll just put some facts before you to say why, despite all these allegations, the support of investors continues with the Adani Group. One, fund from operations at US $7 billion for the last 12 months, are growing at over 30% for the past 5 years. What it means is growth in cash flow from operation is strong and it has sustained. That means the growth in Adani Group of companies are sustainable. They've sustained in last 12 months. Now the debt, the burden is going down gradually as the profits go up. The cash flow is good, as it says. The liquidity position across all portfolio companies remains strong, with sufficient liquidity to cover all debt obligations, including refinancing for the next 12 months plus 1 day. What it means, healthy liquidity to cover, to address debt. Now, It also says that the asset base of the company has increased by US dollars 9 billion to US dollars 60 billion in H1 FY25. That is a very, very strong message that financial health of the company is very, very strong.
Yes. And Sanjay and Anand, a word now on what will you be watching out for in the next 24 to 48 hours? Because, you know, as market watchers and as investors, you would be watching the market for all the hours that it is up.
Hi,
Sanjay.
as far as I am concerned, I am looking out whether this rally is a bounce back rally or market is preparing for a fresh big rally, because today what we are saying is purely a bounce back. So that will be a key. And second important will be to see how FIIs are turning up now. I want at least they should hold on their sale. And are we seeing some stability from FI side? These two will be very important for me to look from short-term perspective.
I would tend to agree with Anand.
All right. From the short-term perspective, what about you, Sanjay? Yes.
I would tend to agree with Anand, and I only hope that it's a long sustaining rally. And I'm sure, keeping in mind the situation overall of the economy and of the country, I'm sure we are looking for another big rally in the market.
All right, Sanjay and Anand, thank you so much for joining us and sharing your perspective.